Remember how optimistic everyone was about the Las Vegas Raiders around this time last year? The team had just fired their then head coach, Josh McDaniels, and the players rallied around interim head coach Antonio Pierce. They went on a 5-4 run to finish the season, and Pierce seemed to be pushing all the right buttons. He moved linebacker Malcolm Kuntz to the starting lineup, promoted quarterback Aidan O'Connell, and signed cornerback Jack Jones. The future looked promising. But here we are in Week 8 of this season, and the Raiders have just been blown out by the Cincinnati Bengals, marking their 5th consecutive loss. What happened? Pierce, now a first-time head coach, showed he had a plan. He was just working through some rookie mistakes. He had a clear formula for winning: run the ball, avoid turnovers, and lean on a defense that was one of the best in the league during the second half of last season. The Raiders wanted to stick with that game plan this year, but they're facing challenges. The defense is missing key players, making it tough to replicate last year's success. Star defensive end Max Crosby is battling injuries, and defensive tackle Christian Wilkins, who joined to boost the defense, is now sidelined with a foot injury. Adding to the strain, linebacker Divine Diablo has been out since the start of the season with a knee injury. It would have been great to see the whole defensive lineup working with a secondary that's improved, thanks to cornerback Jacorian Bennett and safety Isaiah Pola-Mao. Despite the injuries, the defense is still solid, but it's no longer dominant. Unlike last year, the defense can't single-handedly win games where the offense struggles, like failing to complete a pass for 3 quarters. Even if they were at full strength, this year's offense hasn't done enough to make up for the gaps. Last season, the offense wasn't high-scoring, but managed long drives that chewed up the clock. This year, beyond a few scripted opening drives, the offense has been underwhelming. Part of the problem? Offensive coordinator Luke Getsy. Like the Raiders, I tried to give him a fair shot, but he's been inconsistent. In one game, he ran the ball 3 times in a row at the goal line, even when the run wasn't working. In another, he called 3 passes in a row when the run was effective. Getsy wasn't Pierce's first choice either. He initially pursued Cliff Kingsbury, but negotiations fell through, and Kingsbury went to the Washington Commanders, where he's thriving. That wasn't Pierce's fault. It was up to GM Tom Telesco, who handled the contracts. Personnel decisions have also clashed with Pierce's philosophy. Despite Zamir White showing promise last year, Pierce wanted Josh Jacobs back. Yes, it would have been costly, but if you're a run-heavy, defense-focused team, you need a star running back. Telesco wouldn't match the offer Jacobs got from the Green Bay Packers, though, as he doesn't believe in spending big on running backs. Telesco prefers finding versatile, lower-cost backs like Austin Eckler. Good for a passing team, but not ideal for a run-heavy offense. A star like Jacobs can make a huge difference, breaking tackles where other backs get stopped. Last season, Pierce said that any new quarterback would have to beat out Aidan O'Connell. But when Gardner Minshew came in, he didn't outperform O'Connell, yet somehow ended up with the starting job. It was clear this was a decision driven by Telesco, who wanted to see his pick in action, leaving Pierce to defer to the GM. Telesco has built this team his way, which hasn't always aligned with Pierce's vision. Pierce's strategy is to have a quarterback manage the game conservatively, letting the defense win. Minshew, however, is a risk-taker, prone to turnovers, a mismatch for Pierce's game plan. It's tough when your quarterback is like a gunslinger without a gun. If you keep turning the ball over, your defense can't win because they don't get enough rest. They're always defending a short field, which makes things even harder. Choosing Getsy as the offensive coordinator was a big decision, but picking McHugh over O'Connell turned out to be one of the Raiders' biggest mistakes this season. Pierce didn't get the results he wanted with Getsy, so the Raiders had to let him go. We all agree it was the right move, but now they need to find someone who matches Pierce's vision. I'm not sure if Getsy was Pierce's first choice, but it seems like they had to rush into that decision. They didn't see eye to eye on the game plan. Pierce prefers a power gap scheme, while Getsy leaned towards a zone scheme. Pierce also wanted to combine a strong running game with a vertical passing game, but Getsy focused on short passes. Last year, we saw them take some deep shots with speedy Trey Tucker, but this year, those opportunities have been few and far between. Now, I'm hearing that Scott Turner is stepping in to replace Jesse, and his father, Norv Turner, will also have a role on the offensive staff. If Norv has a significant say in the offense, we might see the return of the power gap scheme and the vertical game that Pierce has always wanted. These are classic elements of the Raiders' offense that have been missing. Hopefully, the Turners can turn things around because I really miss those deep passes. I understand that Pierce is a first-time head coach and is still learning, but things shouldn't look this rough. He managed to do more with a limited playbook from a fired coach than what we're seeing now with a full-time offensive coordinator. Under Jesse, it felt like the whole team was heading in the wrong direction. Now that Jesse is gone, Pierce is trying to build the team his way, but some of his decisions don't align with his vision. The result? A team that turns the ball over too much while the defense is left hanging. If the Turners can take charge of the offense and align it with Pierce's vision, there's hope for improvement. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.